The Eastern Cape Province is currently facing a humanitarian and infrastructural crisis, as relentless torrential rains have triggered catastrophic flooding across the Kouga and Nelson Mandela Bay municipalities. What began as a long-awaited relief for the region's drought-stricken dams has rapidly transformed into a provincial disaster, leaving a trail of destruction, mass evacuations, and a mounting death toll. The epicenter of the crisis lies within the Kouga Municipality, where the Kouga Dam, once the symbol of the region's water scarcity, reached a critical level of 113.8% capacity on May 8, 2026. The massive overflow has sent a wall of water cascading into the Gamtoos Valley, placing downstream communities in immediate peril. For years, this region fought a day zero water crisis. Today, it fights the water itself. The Department of Water and Sanitation has issued urgent warnings as the sluice gates remain fully open, discharging millions of liters per second into the already swollen Gamtoos River. As of Friday morning, the Kouga Municipality has coordinated the mass evacuation of hundreds of residents. In the Gamtoos Valley, families were forced to abandon their homes in the middle of the night as water levels rose faster than emergency services could deploy. Primary evacuation zones include Kingsway Village and Big Fish. Entire neighborhoods submerged. Gamtoos Mountain Resort and Ferry Hotel, popular tourist spots now inaccessible. Vista suffered severe mudslides, damaging informal settlements and luxury homes alike. The Katrina Felix Hall in Thornhill and the Laurie Community Hall have been converted into emergency shelters. Local NGOs and Gift of the Givers are on the ground providing hot meals, blankets, and hygiene kits to displaced citizens who have lost everything to the mud and silt. The damage to provincial infrastructure is estimated to be in the billions of rand. The R102, a vital artery for the region, has been rendered impassable at several points due to structural failure and debris. In Humansdorp, the heart of the Kouga district, the scene is one of desolation. Roads have been replaced by rushing brown rapids, and the town is experiencing widespread power outages after several substations were flooded. Engineers warn that the pothole crisis has escalated into sinkhole risks as the saturated earth beneath the tar begins to cave. Further inland, the citrus-producing hubs of Hankey and Potensi are effectively cut off from the rest of the province. Farmers, already struggling with economic volatility, now face the total loss of their current harvests as orchards sit under meters of water. Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane has signaled that a formal Provincial State of Disaster may be declared to unlock emergency funding. Meanwhile, the Department of Education has shuttered schools across the Kouga and Kaberha districts indefinitely. The safety of our learners is paramount, a department spokesperson stated. With bridges washed away and school buildings serving as makeshift morgues or shelters, we cannot resume normal operations until the water recedes and structural integrity is verified. Meteorologists point to a cut-off low-pressure system that has stalled over the coast, dumping more than 100 millimeters of rain in less than 24 hours in some areas. While the filling of the dams provides long-term water security for the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, the speed of the inflow has overwhelmed a landscape hardened by years of drought, making it unable to absorb the moisture. Meanwhile, beyond the Gamtoos River, Bornman has also issued a precautionary notice for residents living in low-lying areas along the Kouga River. The Impofu Dam is currently at 65% capacity, with water levels rising rapidly, raising concern about what lies ahead if conditions continue to deteriorate. While a formal evacuation order has not yet been issued for the area, Bornman warned that one could come within hours. Residents have been urged to remain alert, monitor official communication channels, and prepare for a possible evacuation. They are also advised to move valuables, vehicles, and livestock to higher ground as a precaution, and to avoid all flooded roads and river crossings. The mayor indicated that the situation was being closely watched, with emergency teams monitoring developments on the ground. Further updates will be communicated as conditions evolve, with a critical window identified between 12 p.m. and 13 p.m., during which evacuation notices may be issued if the situation worsens. Authorities emphasize that no one should attempt to cross flooded roads or rivers under any circumstances. Emergency teams remain on high alert throughout the affected areas. Bornman also cautioned that road information was still developing at the time of his address. There are various roads that are flooded and closed, and we will let you know as soon as we have more details on those, he said. Police spokesperson Captain Marius McCarthy said that bridges on the R332 between Potensi and Kouga and the Bavianskloof area are flooded and covered with debris. In addition, he said that the following low-water bridges, namely Bavians, Kouga, Andreas Kral, Koksay Plas, and Vensterhoek, are all flooded. Furthermore, McCarthy said that fallen trees are blocking the following roads in and around Thornhill: R62, R331 in Lowry, R102 between the Gamtoos River and Thornhill, and the Lowry Road between Hankey and Thornhill. Residents and motorists are asked to be wary of fallen trees and debris when driving between Thornhill and Hankey. Reduce speed and be alert for debris, especially at night when hazards are harder to see, said McCarthy. Nature's Valley Camp in the Tsitsikamma section of the Garden Route National Park has been temporarily closed due to persistent rainfall. According to South African National Parks, SANParks, spokesperson J.P. Liu, all guests have been safely evacuated. He further said that the Groot River mouth at Nature's Valley has opened naturally, allowing water to flow out of the camp. Liu said that in the Knysna section, the Thiessen Island office is closed due to strong winds and heavy rainfall. He said that the front office experienced flooding, and the building has been affected by wind damage. Due to coastal surges and the incoming high tide, roads in low-lying areas near the Knysna estuary may be closed, said Liu. He said that in the wilderness section, all campers have been relocated to formal accommodation facilities. Liu further said that the North Camp at Ebb and Flow was closed, and the Tow River mouth and Swartfly mouth were artificially opened on the 7th of May to manage rising water levels. All hiking, cycling, and water-based activities remain suspended, said Liu. He said that SANParks teams, in coordination with disaster management agencies, are deployed across affected areas. Liu said that damage to infrastructure is to be assessed as soon as weather conditions allow. All sections of the Garden Route National Park remain under close monitoring, with restricted access due to flooding and related impacts, said Liu. Meanwhile, a rescue operation was launched after 20 people who did not evacuate the Gamtoos Valley on the 7th of May 2026 were trapped by the floods. According to ENCA, the group of people has refused to evacuate the area after residents were hesitant to leave their properties. A total of 80 families in Hanley were left homeless after the South African Weather Service issued multiple weather warnings of devastating rainfall leading to flooding across the country. Hattingh Bornman, the mayor of the Kouga Municipality, said that the NRSI, SA Rescue, and South African Police Service are in the process of attempting to rescue them. He also said about 40 people were trapped in the Kingsway area. He said it rained throughout the night, and the Gamtoos River and Crom River have flooded. Floods destroyed homes and infrastructure in Kouga, which triggered evacuations. Dozens of families were left homeless after the Kouga Municipality issued an evacuation order for residents living in Kingsway Village, Ferry Hotel, Gamtoos Mouth Resort, and Big Fish in Gamtoos Valley. Bornman pointed out that the floods resulted in severe damage to infrastructure. Homes have also been damaged, and roads have been washed away. Meanwhile, with assistance from the EMS emergency helicopter, reconnaissance flights will take place over cutoff areas, starting in Leogamka West and Calitzdorp, before moving to De Vlucht and parts of the Langkloof. Some areas in the Langkloof, Plettenberg Bay and Knysna, are still without electricity. Eskom has been requested to prioritize power restoration, especially where electricity is needed for water pumping and sanitation services. Rescue teams will also continue efforts to reach a group of scholars stranded below the Raubenheimer Dam at the Cango Mountain Resort. Contact was made with the group last night, and humanitarian assistance will be provided today. Efforts for the rest of the day will mainly focus on reopening key provincial roads. National routes have largely reopened, while restoring the internal road network remains a priority. The Haarlem Dam climbed from 104% to 116% capacity, releasing 80 cubic meters per second. The Okloof Dam rose from 30% to 107%, while the Buffeljags Dam hit 103% and was spilling. The Haarlem Dam peaked at 116% before stabilizing, while both the Leeugamka Dam at 97% and the Gamkapoort Dam at 98% were being closely watched. Dr. Colin Diner, head of Western Cape Disaster Management, said the speed of the rise was what most alarmed authorities. Literally, at around about 6 a.m., we started seeing a very, very sharp increase. The flow was at 7.7 meters and increased from 7.52 on the latest data in the Kouga River, he said. The Knysna River was simultaneously surging, peaking at 4 meters before beginning to ease slightly. Dams still climbing included the Gamka Dam, up from 43% to 60% capacity, the Woolweedens Dam at 66%, and the Garden Route Dam at 54.7%. The storm's broader impact was also reflected in Cape Town's municipal dam system. Data from the 4th of May 2026 showed the city's 6 major dams at 48.3%, up from 47.3% the previous week, but still significantly lower than the 59.9% recorded at the same time in 2025. By May 6th, a separate reading showed overall storage had ticked up further to 49.2%, with Berg River at 50.8%, Theewaters Kloof, the system's largest dam at 480,188 million liters capacity, at 48.5%, Vuelvle at 50.4%, and Wemmershoek at 50.5%. Beyond the dams themselves, authorities were also monitoring 3 estuaries, the Great Brak River, Klein Brak, and Hartenbos, where rising water threatened to push flooding further inland. Kamanasi and Stompdrift dams are rising quickly. If they do spill, challenges will be experienced downstream between Calitzdorp and Oudtshoorn, said Diner. Diner explained that protocols were in place to breach estuaries when necessary to relieve pressure, adding that all tributaries within key catchment areas remained under continuous observation. With aircraft set to conduct flyovers across affected regions and damage assessments still pending, officials cautioned that the full picture of the storm's water-related impact was yet to emerge. Meanwhile, the route from Oudtshoorn via Calitzdorp Hot Springs to Goritz has been severely affected, with multiple farms cut off and many residents impacted. Meringsport Pass is expected to remain closed for an extended period. The N9 was closed between Uniondale and George but has reopened. The R62 between Joubertinia and George is also open, but motorists are urged to travel with caution. Road users can alternatively travel via the R341 through De Rust to Oudtshoorn. From Oudtshoorn, motorists can continue towards George via the N12, or travel along the R62 towards Calitzdorp, Ladysmith, and beyond. A social worker has died, several areas have been cut off, and roads have been closed due to extensive flooding to parts of the Western Cape along the Garden Route. Social worker Lauren Fredericks, 37, died when a tree fell on her vehicle during harrowing weather conditions in Knysna on Wednesday. Family spokesperson Kelly Martin said the family is devastated by this tragic loss. She leaves behind her young son, Miguel, 10, and her husband, Frankie, who meant everything to her. While weather warnings have been downgraded from level 8 to level 6, the Garden Route Multi-Agency Command Center said areas including Knysna, B2, and George, Langkloof, remain a concern. In a statement released on Thursday, the Garden Route Municipality said that during the night, the Stormdrift and Kammanassie dams began spilling, adding to the water flowing from the Groot River through to Meringsport. These flows continue past Oudtshoorn and Calitzdorp hot springs before eventually reaching Goritz, where it will flow into the sea. Due to the increased water flow, Robinson Pass from the Oudtshoorn side has been closed. Meringsport also remains closed, with current assessments indicating that it may remain inaccessible for an extended period due to the extent of the damage recorded, it said. According to the municipality, water supply challenges are being experienced after pumps at water abstraction points were damaged in B2. Some communities have also been cut off from communication, and interventions are underway to address these challenges. It further confirmed the remaining closure of the N9, the road between Avontuur and Haarlem, and the Swartberg Pass. The South African National Defence Force, SANDF, together with the Oudtshoorn Fire Department and SAPS divers, is working to evacuate residents from Beargord safely. EMS Metro and a medical rescue helicopter are being deployed to assess areas and possibly deliver food parcels to areas where access is cut off. Eskom said that several areas were affected by power outages, including Plettenberg Bay, Oudtshoorn, and surrounding areas along the Garden Route. It said Plettenberg Bay town was successfully restored yesterday afternoon. Areas still affected are scattered across parts of Oudtshoorn and the greater Plettenberg Bay area. Most major towns have been restored, with only Sedgefield currently remaining without supply due to a confirmed line fault. Access to affected areas continues to be severely hindered by road closures, flooding, and hazardous conditions. Resource plans for repair work are well underway, and Eskom teams will commence restoration activities once safety conditions permit, Eskom said.